Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we're talking about Shape Engine. What is Shape Engine? Well, it is a 2D game engine about graphics that are done entirely procedurally. You can think of this as a vector graphics engine. It is built on top of the RayLib framework, one of my favorites out there. I'll show you a little bit more about RayLib in just a minute, but first let's go through the demo of Shape Engine, getting an idea of the kind of thing that this one is all about. First off, let's shift to a color palette I like better, which would be this one right here, and the very simple example here. Shapes. You are using primitive shapes. So for example, over here, you've got rectangles, polylines, points, segments, and so on. So you see another option over here. These are the kind of primitives you work with. And this is an engine that is optimized to make your entire game out of these kind of constructs. You also have access to the entirety of RayLib underneath. So if you need input handling, you've got it. If you want to use bitmap sprites to mix with your vector graphics, that is an option for you as well. So let's go ahead and check out an example here. So let's do the endless space collisions. And you see flying around in space, and you see how you break things down. So if you've ever played any old school vector graphics style games, you know exactly what we were dealing with. There's a bit of a resurgence in this style a little while ago when, remember Geometry Wars broke out on the scenes? Well, that is the exact kind of games that you can create using this game engine. And again, entirely free, open source, built on top of RayLib. Now, RayLib, as you may know, is actually a C-based framework, but it has bindings for just about every single language you could imagine. Let's go take a look at a couple of the other options that are available here. So let's go to the second page. So you got things like text scaling, and we can do different fonts. I can take it to the corner. We can move around the location and so on. So the nice thing about vector graphics is they scale across a wide variety of different platforms. Another thing you can see about them, and this is what this is all very nice about, is right now you can see 10,000 objects in the scenes, 12, 15, 20,000, still doing 60 frames per second on a debug build. Let's get up to 50,000 objects, and then we're starting to drop to 1 frame below 60. Let's keep going. So we got 75,000, still holding strong at 60 frames per second. And I'll go up to 100,000, and then we're going to start seeing some drop below peak frame rate. So you can draw a ton of options using this. Again, it is entirely all about doing those vector graphics-y kind of things. You've got also camera solutions, like so, all handled for you, and everything else you could need to make a game. So a number of different examples here, tons to work with. If you want to go ahead and check this one out, it is, again, entirely open source. So you're going to see the core library itself. Shape Engine is available. Again, all the code is here, like so. So you can go into it, check things out to your heart's content. You see all of the code is pretty straightforward. It is entirely C# based. You will also find that there is an examples here. That's what we've been looking at so far. The examples are available. Go into the scenes and then go into the example scenes. You'll find all of the various different examples we looked at. So bouncy circles that we just checked out a second ago, here is the code for handling bouncy circles. It's pretty clean and straightforward, not a difficult library to learn by any definition of the word. Again, it is incredibly niche in terms of what you do with this guy, but it's a cool one in that regard. By the way, I got this one by cloning it from the GitHub repository. I'll show you that in just a second. You can also grab this guy via NuGet. So if you go to NuGet over here, you will find Shape Engine is available as a NuGet package as well. Get you up and going in the quickest way possible. So nice to work with it in that regard. If you're using something like Visual Studio Code or Project Rider, you can just use it via NuGet and get it up and running. So here we are on the GitHub repository, and the important things to notice here, it's been in development for a couple of years now, but it is being very constantly updated. They did the 1.0 release just a little while back, and on top of that, you can see here, MIT licensed code on this one, a very liberal license in terms of what you are able to get away with. You can see the kind of games, again, that are created using this guy. So it is a very defined project style. If you're not working with vector graphics, if you don't want that old school vectory look, this is not the one for you. Although again, you can mix it and call anything from the underlying RayLib. So if you want to do vector graphics on top of sprite graphics or with sprite graphics, that is perfectly possible. Here you can see an example of a minimal project. Very easy to set up. So there you can see you basically set up your dimensions and then create a game class. In your game class, you're overriding the various different callbacks, in this case, draw game, and you put your code in there. Very easy to get up and going with. Again, there is a NuGet package available, or what you could just do is basically clone this repository and then build it. You'll get the libraries, and then the examples are available alongside of it. So a number of ways to get up and running with this one. By the way, if you don't want to get up and running with it, you can actually just go to their itch.io page. There you can actually go ahead and download the various different demos that are available. So what we just checked out today, you can check those out yourself, see what kind of performance you are getting with them. So you don't have to build anything. You can actually grab them straight up from the Shape Engine itch.io and check out the binaries that way. So this is just for the demo projects, by the way. And I've mentioned it a couple of times now, and I've mentioned it several times on this channel. Shape Engine is built on top of RayLib. RayLib is a C framework for creating games. It is kind of a modern spiritual successor to the likes of SDL, SFML, Allegro, that kind of things. It's one of the easiest to use frameworks out there. It's a great way to get started if you want to start with C or C++. But on top of that, you're also going to find it's available on every platform you can imagine and has language bindings for every single language you could imagine, including, of course, C#, which is what Shape Engine is using. On top of that, it is very modular, has a number of different secondary libraries available for you, and it's got a ton of functionality. So if you're looking for a low-level C++ or C framework, or language bindings to another similar language, and you want to build kind of simple games from the code level up, RayLib is an exceptional tool in that regard. And again, it was used to create Shape Engine. So the Shape Engine bindings that are being used are ultimately RayLib underneath. And Shape Engine, as you saw from the demo project down below, so this minimal setup project, it's very easy to get up and going with it as well. So again, it is only for creating a very specific style of graphics. If you want to do something entirely with shapes, that is what Shape Engine is for. But if that is what you're looking for, it is a great one to pick up. And if you do like what you see, come on in, give the author a star on his channel, let him know that you appreciate his work. And that's it. Let me know what you think. Again, a very niche engine today, but an interesting one. So that is Shape Engine built on top of the RayLib framework. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.